first time, your first time managing a team and being the foundation leader. Okay, so in this scenario, we will be talking about that you are first time to become an associate sales manager, for example, or a leader in general, and you have also a team of new hires. So both of you are new, fresh, okay? Which is this scenario, I would like to start with it because that's most likely what happens for newly promoted associate sales managers, is that usually it comes with an expansion or something. So with the expansion, there will be new hires, and also you will be newly promoted, so everything will be new, which is good for some aspects, and also in this scenario, the biggest challenge I can say for being a new leader, managing a new team, is first getting out of yourself, which means that you need to start thinking as a leader, not a frontliner anymore. So things are not about you anymore. It's about what your team will do. So if you do a lot of hard work yourself, but you can't get your team to do the hard work or work properly and be motivated to work, then nothing is going to happen. No matter how many calls you listen to, no matter how many coachings you do, whatever, as long as you can't have the team to be motivated to work, nothing is going to work in this case. So first thing first, you need to accept diversity, which means that people doesn't think like you. Each person in your team will have his own personality. This personality requires a different kind of treatment, which is not saying that you should be biased or do something or treat each person in a good or bad way or based on their character. No. You need to understand more about themselves and what motivates them. Motivation is not a one fit for all. Okay, each person has a different way of getting motivated and self-motivation. Also, sometimes there is a big mistake that happens, especially if you, before you get promoted, you were a very compliant person. Okay, you were a very compliant person. So some new leaders, when they were frontliners, they were very compliant and strict and very, overachieving and things like that. So they have expectations that everybody should be like them, otherwise they are below expectations. Okay? No, things are different for each person. And each person has his own unique point that he will add to the team, different than the other. Okay? So some of the team members maybe will be the top achievers of the team, and they are really into the game, and they are very competitive and into becoming number one, which is good to have in your team. But not everybody will be like that. Some people will be more like support, and they can actually add more value than the top performer sometimes. So some people who are in, let's say, become third, fourth, or whatever, but they actually help number 6 and 7 to become better and to be better in the team, and they are more supportive. So you need to understand what each person can add to the team. And being a leader is completely about how to make the most out of the resources that you have. Okay? So if someone, let's say, is into studying and knowledge so much and he likes to deep dive, you need to discover this quickly as a leader, understand that this is his unique edge, and use this unique edge to help you with the team. Because as a new leader with new reps, you have no idea about the product. You both are new and things like that. Sometimes you might be launching a new account, and you only took the training, both of you took the training at the same time, and all of you are still struggling with the knowledge. But someone in the team is faster in the knowledge grasping, and he likes to deep dive, and he likes to do his homework. You need to let your ego away, that you don't have to be the expert in the room as a leader. No, you can be, being the leader doesn't have to be the SME of the team and the subject matter expert. No, you need to know how to use each resource properly. If someone in your team has a self-extinct becoming the SME and he's doing this extra mile, use that. Make this person show what he learned, share what he learned. That's something like that for knowledge, for example. Someone else, let's say, has a background before he joins of long cold calling. So he has a lot of good best practices that he can share from his previous experience. Don't stop that. This is what can make your team grow faster, is when you don't reinvent the wheel. You understand where I'm coming from? So make sure that the accumulative experience that you have in your team is actually going on and getting past to the next level. So you don't have to make it only your way or not. No. Your way would sometimes work with some people and might have worked for you, but wouldn't work for other people. For example, when we are creating a script or creating an intro, not everybody is going to have the same way of doing it. And if you force it for everyone, the results are not going to be great, because some people, their personality will not be matching what you are asking them to say and do on the phone. Okay? So you need to let each person has his own personality in the phone. You need to make sure that each person is really contributing and sharing his best practices. It doesn't mean that the others will just copy paste it. It's gonna just be, like an idea, a trick that maybe someone will try and will work, and maybe someone else will try it and it will not work with them. But as long as we are trying and error, we're learning. So as a new leader, you need to focus on the expedited learning and also creating a healthy environment. So what is the healthy environment? Some leaders fall in a mistake of running competitions too early, which is a team just recently formed. They don't know each other, they don't trust each other, and they're still in the forming stage. Okay? It's really not the best case to run competitions and divide the people and make it selfish in this specific stage. Yes, it might bring some fast results, okay, if you do it in the first months of launching. But the cost of it will be way more than the ROI, which is that you will lose the team bond. So first thing you need to work on as a new leader with a new team is the bond between the team. And giving them the space to build relationships, especially in B2B teams. So I see that the bond and the relationships between the team, especially new teams, is crucial. You need to have time where you guys need to sit down and sync. And sync, which is not like thinking, no, synchronize with each other, and understand each other and form relationships, form friendships, have some laughs together, and have some breaks together, have some, like time even off shift, like an outing or something together, so you can bring people and try to start breaking the ice that the new people have toward each other usually. Usually, sometimes you will be lucky that the trainer already did that. Okay? Some trainers are good at that. But when they have a new hires batch, they do these kind of activities which breaks the ice and get the people together and they start to know each other and so on and so forth. So you will be lucky that they already came to you in the operations as a harmonious group. But you're not going to be always lucky with this case. So you need to try also to still make it. So do it with outings, do it with breaks together, do it with gatherings, whatever your team will like to do, and ask them what they like to do. Make sure that they are really together. And so what if I found someone who's not blending in? Shall I force it? No, don't force it, but try to understand why he's not blending in or she's not blending in. what's the barrier there? Is the environment that the others are creating is not comfortable for this person? Maybe there is some limits is being crossed that he or she might not like to be part of. You need to try also to create some governance, that it's not completely without rules and without limitations. So you need to understand what's hindering the team from becoming a one big unit, not just small team. And also communication. And maybe some of you remember when we were launching this, we were having almost daily huddles in the very beginning after we started launching and so on. Why? Because these huddles, we listen to each other. We talk. Someone is bringing an idea, we're listening, we're motivating, we're celebrating small wins. All these kind of things, you need to maximize the team quality time together at the beginning. Even if you have no idea what is the product yourself as a manager. But if the team knows, let them share. It doesn't matter that you don't know. At least they know, and they're sharing with each other. That's all what it matters. You're not gonna be on the phone selling yourself and talking about the product. Okay? You don't focus that I want to be the SME. I'm gonna focus on the product knowledge. No, this is not the stage for it. No, it's not. It doesn't matter that you become the product expert. Because some leaders, a lot of leaders falls in this mistake. That in their first months as a new leader, they're just focused on the system, on the knowledge, on the product, and not spending enough time with their teams and making the team do that and share it with each other. Like a leader is like like a maestro. He's orchestrating. He's not playing himself. Okay? But he's orchestrating the motion to make sure that there is a harmony coming in. Okay? That's one. Number two, also, this can help you fill the training gaps. Because people have different types of speeds, in other words, in learning. Some person will learn something from the very first time. Okay? Some person will need it to be explained twice to get it. Some people will need to see it in a different format. That it's not theoretical. I need to see it practical to understand it. Some people will need to do a presentation about it so they can understand it. They need to teach back so they can understand. So try to do all these activities with your team so you can ensure that this learning process is happening, because training only is not enough, ever. And we hear this a lot. I finished the training and once I hit the floor, I didn't get a training. No, you did. But you don't remember, basically, because usually people remember 10% of the training. Just training is, like just a baseline to give you a basic concept about what you're doing. It's not gonna get you ready to start doing the actual job. You need to go ahead, put your sleeves up, and do mistakes, learn from the mistakes, learn from others, listen to what the most senior people are doing, the successful people, what are they doing, and try to mimic a lot of things and form it in your own way that will be successful for yourself. Okay? So as a leader, you need to let that happen. So in other words, you need also to dedicate time for learning. If you guys remember also when we were like in the first few months, I was giving you on a daily basis 30 minutes that you need to listen to calls. Your calls and the other successful calls from your teammates. Okay? Why is that? Because that's the most effective way of learning, which is sharing experiences. So when you are listening every day, someone will tell me, no, I need him to be on the phone this 30 minutes every day. No. It's not about the time the person is on the phone and doing the dialing and so on. If he's doing it wrong, then you just wasted another 8 hours. But maybe if you give him the 30 minutes and he learns something that make him more effective, then the other 7 hours will be much more meaningful. Okay? So don't you ever be uptight when it comes to learning and development, and to self-learning, coaching, this is not a wasted time, ever. Okay? But something maybe that you can help you, because as a new leader, sometimes you will be overwhelmed. Because a lot of new tasks has been added to you that you don't know exactly how it's done. So sometimes things that might take 15 minutes might take you a few hours because you're new and you don't know how to do it in a quick manner. Okay? So you find that your time is very tight. You can't handle all the tasks that was thrown on your shoulders. And you find now that as a leader, it's not only about leading people and motivating and coaching. You have a lot of admin work that you need to do for the corp, that you need to do this and that, and send transportation, send that, do the format of this, and send emails of the daily recaps, and send the WBR, and send all these kind of things is very new to you, and you don't know how to do it, so it's going to take you a long time. So how can you manage your time effectively? In order to still help your team and make it more effective from time perspective. As usually new hires and new people will have common gaps after they start working. Okay? What you need to do is identify the common gaps, and instead of spending like 1 hour with each person coaching this person individually on the same common gap, no, do it in groups. So you found that, let's say 70% of the team is having issue with the discovery. Then instead of coaching the 70% for discovery, have them in a session and start coaching in groups. That will save you a lot of time. Okay? Plus, some people also during the session will come up with ideas that you don't have. Okay? And don't ever be like closed-minded that you think you got it all. No matter what is your experience and what is titles that you have, always be open to learn from people. See what they do and learn from them. And make them teach each other. Because it's not with titles, it's not with experience when someone can add something to the team. Someone might be just fresh, but he read a book somewhere that he learned something from that none of us know. He saw a technique on a TikTok video. You know, like, everybody has something to add to the team. Don't be closed-minded that you just want to be the only source of information. Allow this to happen. So again, coaching in groups in the first month is essential to save you time and your team as well. Okay? And I'm saying that based on experience because in the beginning, in my beginnings as a leader, I was doing this mistake. That I was not doing group coaching for new hires. I was just doing with each person. So I found myself spent 2 weeks to deliver one thing that could have done in one session. Okay? Because I was thinking, no, I need to give each person his own one-to-one. You start doing coachings when the common gaps are filled, and now you have individuals, each person has his own gap, which is different from the other. That's where the coaching is more effective. And now you have already set the foundation, and everybody is now on the same level of understanding, on the same level of proficiency of what they are doing. However, each person has his own unique improvement area. Okay? Now the one-to-ones is more effective. Now the coaching is more effective. But when you're handling a new team, no, that's gonna take very long time from you and bring you very slow results. If you go one by one and maybe you have a big team. Okay? So you need to try to find what is the fastest way that I can make the team learn, not bring fast results, because fast results doesn't mean consistent results. Okay? A lot of techniques can bring you fast results. So let's say now people can do something, basically, you should do it in 2 weeks. Okay? And this thing, you want to have it in 1 week. So you apply some kind of forcing. techniques to make them do it in 1 week. Okay? Fine, you will get the result that you want in 1 week. Then what? Then what? People will start burning out. People will start leaving, and you will end up with another new hires that you need to start from scratch with. Okay? So, and we will come to the attrition part and how critical the attrition is to the leader. But this is going to have its own session of talking about it. Like it's going to have a section for it. But again, I'm talking to you about the first 30 days as a new leader. Okay? Okay, what about me, myself? So I'm now talking about the team and how can I help the team grow faster. How about you? How can you grow faster? One of the mistakes I can say also for new leaders that happens a lot, and I saw that happening a lot, is you think that if you ask the elders, then you don't have a credit in what you do. That's a big mistake. Because now you're doing the same mistake that you don't want your team to do, which is reinventing the wheel. Okay? You need yourself to learn from other leaders. What are they doing? And what is the success that they have? And if you have an issue, don't feel shy to go and ask. If your manager is open and he's willing to teach you, which is a bliss, it's not a granted thing, by the way. Sometimes your manager will not have the time to teach you. Then find a mentor. How can I find a mentor? It's everywhere. So basically, you can have one of your colleagues who's more tenured than you as a leader. Sit down with him, tell him, what should I do in the first months with my team? I'm doing this and I'm not bringing results. What am I doing wrong? Okay? You need to set your ego away. Your ego as a leader is your biggest enemy. Okay? You need to set it away. You need to learn from your team. You need to learn from your colleagues. And always have a mentor. Okay? I don't think I started growing in my career until I had mentors in my life. And this, I think, the first mentor I had was back in 2021. I found out that Concentrix has something, it's called the mentorship program. Okay? Which is that you go on Workday and you go on find the mentor, and you find a lot of people who are willing to help across the globe. You know? And they are in senior leadership, or maybe team leaders or managers, senior managers, directors, and even VPs. A lot of them are open for mentorship. Okay? You will send the request, for example, and have the mentor for yourself. Okay? To be honest, my first mentor was really game changer for me. And she helped me a lot. When I was new leader, I had a lot of issues. What am I doing wrong here? Okay. Unfortunately, I didn't have the luxury. With my first manager as a leader, he was not a mentor. Unfortunately, it's okay. Not everybody has this skill to be a mentor. By the way, some people might have the knowledge but don't know how to share it and how to transfer it to other people. It's not a shame. It's okay. But don't be waiting to be spoon-fed. This is not a leadership act. It's you need everything to come to you. I need my manager to dedicate time to coach me. Okay, good. But what if it didn't happen? Then what should you do? You should learn. You should not stop learning. You should not put excuses. Excuses is destroy you. Don't put excuses. Forget excuses. We need to get things done. I need to learn something, I'm going to learn it. One way or another. And things are way easier for us now, maybe millennials and Gen Z and so on, is way easier than old leaders because we have the internet, basically. And that helped us to learn from anybody on the planet Just with a one click on YouTube, I can find the leader who's talking about his experience, right? I can actually chat with someone on LinkedIn and ask him for a mentorship. You will find people willing to do that. The good people is all over the place, by the way. So you will always find someone, either in your org, outside your org, in a company in Egypt, in a company outside Egypt, on YouTube, on TikTok, whatever. You'll find someone who's willing to give his knowledge. You just need to go and grab it. But if you put excuses that nobody is teaching me, I'm not getting support, hey, you need to learn something. It's always on you. Always on you. If things works, it's you who made it work. If it didn't work, it's you who didn't make it work. If you start pointing fingers, you have to know that this is your first step toward failure. If you blame life for not having the economical life that you want, let's say, okay, you will remain poor. Let me put it this way. If you keep blaming others, I will blame the society, I will blame the country, I will blame whatever for what I have. Okay? Good job. Keep blaming. You're not going anywhere. A leader is not a blamer. Okay? He's a responsible person. And the responsibility should start from your own acts. That you need to take accountability in your own actions and take ownership of your mistakes. And this is something you should never, ever, ever, ever do. That if you are in a meeting, let's say, and your team is not getting good results, you blame the team. No, it's not the team, and especially with the management. It's your decisions. It's your way of leadership which made that happen. So you need to change it. Whatever you're doing, you need to change it. Okay? And how can you change it? Learn from your mistakes. Try to understand what went wrong and fix it. And be quick on it. If you start blaming something, okay, be my guest. Then you're not gonna grow and you'll end up with a failure. And I think we saw a lot of these examples happen in the past. With a lot of people who work. Start blaming the leads for the salespeople. That's the easiest one. If I will blame the leads, okay. Go blame the leads as a leader as well. Start blaming the leads. Okay, good luck. You're not gonna get your performance. You have bad leads, then you need to improve your conversion rate until you fix the leads. How can I improve my conversion rate? Make every one count. Every connected call count. If your conversion rate is 10%, make it 20%. This is how you overcome the obstacles. Don't just look at the obstacle and say, yeah, I can't get my performance until this obstacle is removed. Good luck. Good luck. Blame the lead. Blame anything. Okay, good luck. No, you need to blame yourself. You did something wrong. I do. When you guys, for example, are not doing good in a specific week, on a specific month, I know I did something wrong. And I try to change it. Whatever I'm doing, I need to change it. Okay? If I'm doing something that's too strict, I need to reduce it. This strict. If I'm doing the other way around, I'm too lean, I need to be strict. Okay? If I'm doing something that way, I will try the other way. But don't sit on status quo and expect things to change. If you do the same thing over and over again, don't expect different results. Is that right? So, as a new leader, being agile is the most important thing. And being agile means agile in the way you lead your people, in the way you let them lead each other. What do I mean by lead each other? Yeah, your team can lead each other. You can actually make the team be the driver. And if you set the right engine, trust me, they will actually motivate each other to work because they don't accept failure. They are not settling for being, like not successful. So all of this is great, but if there is one thing that's missing, all of this will be temporary and will not continue. Can someone tell me what is the thing, if it's missing, all of this will be just temporary, no matter how you try? Can someone guess? Can raise hand if you have an idea.
Can you say it again?
There is another ingredient, if it's missing, all the efforts that you are doing, you and your team, will be temporary and it will shut down again. If someone is missing. Adam?
Lack of motivation.
Okay, motivation. Can you be more specific?
Like if your team is motivated for just a week and then you stop to motivate them. So
That's what I'm saying. That's going to be temporary. No, this is not what I mean. Okay, being motivated is right, but it's not exactly what I mean. I mean, what can they make them motivated for a long term? Oh,
say lack of trust.
lack of trust. That's a really crucial one. Okay? But this is also not the one I'm talking about. Even if they have the trust of each other and yourself, still something, if it's not there, things will be temporary.
Making them feel that they are valuable.
Okay, making them feel that they are valuable. That's really good also, and a really crucial one. And it's important that each of the team member feels that he is valuable and he's adding value to the team. But this is not what I'm talking about as well. This guy raised this out first.
I think consistency is the whole point here.
Okay.
I mean, no matter the results
How can
are,
you drive consistency?
no matter the results are, just keep doing it. Not the same way, but
Why would you do it?
why would I do it? Because what else am I going to do?
Okay. Does someone have another answer? Thank you so much, Ahmed. And consistency is very important, but how can you stay consistent?
By showing them the ultimate goal.
Thank you so much. Let's give it up to Ahmed. That's the ingredient that's really important. Because no matter how much fuel you put, if you don't have a right destination and you have it in front of your eyes that you are pursuing, you're gonna run out of gas and you will reach nowhere. Right? You rate an ultimate goal. You need to have a vision, a goal that they are working to achieve. Two goals, mainly. Ultimate goal for the team. What is the vision of the company and what's the vision of the account? What is this team purpose? What are they trying to reach? What is the destination? What's the next step you want to take? Okay? And individual goals as well. Each person needs to have his individual goal that he's working for, and also the team goal and vision that he wants to pursue. For example, if you're launching a new account, let's say you want to have expansion to reach X amount of seats, X amount of revenue, whatever, you need to have a goal that we are all working together to reach. Okay? And this goal should be shared with your team. Your team needs to know the goal. You can't just be, like gears in a machine and they don't understand where is this vehicle going. No, you need to understand what's the vision, what are we all trying to achieve, and also each person needs to have his own goal. You'll tell me, so Moment, what do I have to do with personal goals? I'll tell you, you have to. Because if your team, each person has his own goal that he has in front of his eyes, you're a super lucky leader, because that almost doesn't happen. A lot of people work to pay the bills. Okay? And that's not a goal. That's a problem. By the way. If you have someone in your team who's just working to pay the bills, don't expect consistency. It's gonna just do the bare minimum. to get the money to pay the bills. Okay? So what kind of goals am I talking about? It will be anything. Some people, for example, they want to take the next step. For example, they want to get promoted. That's a goal. And they want to get promoted because they want to have extra money, because they want to reach bigger goals in their life. They want to reach a specific lifestyle that they want to pursue. They want to buy a house, get a car, get married, become billionaire, become millionaire, whatever. You need to have a very long-term goal, this person. But you will be surprised that few of your team members might have absolutely no goals. They're just working because they have to.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
What if the team member does have a goal, right, but he's not even working towards it?
Okay?
He speaks about it, but he's not working.
Good. That's a very good point. And actually, this is not one of them. That happens to all of us, all the time. We have goals, but we forget it. Okay? And we don't work toward it. So, what's my responsibility as a leader there? My responsibility as a leader is to try to remind this person of the goal, and also tie it in a way to the work that he's doing. So, what's the relationship between the work and the goal? Okay? Plus, help him with some ways of goal setting, of having something which is, I think all of you know it, which is the SMART goals. A lot of people have dreams, okay? But it's not goals. Why? Because it lacks being smart. And smart doesn't mean intelligent. I mean smart, which is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. And time-bound, this is the most important one. And this is actually the one which makes it a dream, usually, if it's not time-bound. So, I want to be a millionaire. Great. When? Someday. Okay, that's a dream. That's not a goal. To have a goal, it needs to have a time that you want to achieve it in. Even if this time didn't happen in the first attempt, you need to reset it. Put another time frame after you understand why you didn't achieve it in the first one, the first goal. What was the obstacles that you couldn't fix that didn't make you reach it in the first time? And improving it when you are planning the second time. Okay? So the time. So procrastination is the issue that makes it a dream, not a goal. Because we just say blunt stuff and then we don't have any time frame or any milestones or anything, then it's just a dream. It's not a goal. So you need to teach them how to make it smart, how to make it specific, measurable, attainable, relevant. What's the meaning of relevant?
Maybe relevant to reality, like is that even doable?
That's attainable. Attainable is the one which is it something realistic? Can it be done or not? Okay?
Maybe relevant to his,
To him.
yeah.
Yeah, because some people might have a goal that's not even their goal. It's forced on them. By society, by their parents, by whoever. Like, for example, some people in the high school want to be a doctor because his dad wants him to be a doctor. It's not because he wants. This guy will lose passion in the way. So it has to be relevant to him. Something that will make him feel good after he achieves it. That's why it has to stay relevant. And it has to stay also relevant to what he do and his skills. So let's say you, for example, you have a terrible voice and you want to be an amazing singer and world star. That doesn't make a lot of sense. That's not relevant to you, to your skills. Okay? But if you can act, okay, and you want to be a great actor, fine. This is something relevant to you. and you can achieve it. You know, maybe someone else can achieve it, and so it's attainable, but it's not relevant to you and your skills. That's when it becomes difficult. Okay. You want to be the biggest tycoon in real estate. Okay. However, you work in food and beverage. What's the relationship there? Okay. So you need to have something that's relevant to you and what you do. Even if you will do a shift for it, but you need to plan it. Okay. So setting a goal is nice, but the most important than setting a goal is embedding it in their subconscious. How can it get embedded in the subconscious? You need to do a lot of things to make that happen. First of all, you need to visualize it as well. Don't just have it inside your brain, because whatever is inside your brain will get lost. It will go to the long-term memory and will disappear. Okay? No, take it to reality. Bring it to life. If you want to buy a car, print a poster for the car that you want to buy and put it in front of your bed and write down below it, I want to get this car by April of next year. That's it. This visualization will automatically work on your brain. Every time you will see it, you will remember the goal. You should put it also on your workstation. That's, for example, if it's another goal, put it on a paper. Just write it down and put it everywhere so you can see it. Because this is how our brain works. We forget. We were designed to forget. Because we process a lot of information across our life, our brain cannot withstand. So we have this forgetting mechanism. So if you want to make a goal stick, we need to visualize it. However, there is something psychological that people sometimes do, and it harms the goal more than it helps, which is talking about it to others a lot. Okay? It's good that you tell your most trusted person about this goal and see how can he help you achieve it, and how can he or she help you to remember it all the time that you need to achieve it and act as your poker and reminder. You know? That when he sees you going away from the goal, he's gonna, like nudge you. Hey man, you have a goal, you need to achieve. It can be your coach, your mentor, can be your friend, whoever. That's helpful. But when you talk about it a lot with irrelevant people, that gives you something that's called the feeling of false achievement. That when you share the goal with with a lot of people, so they get impressed. Wow, that's great, and great that you're doing that. So you get satisfaction about it before even achieving it. So that actually drops your energy to continue. It doesn't help you. Okay? So this is a very different story. So getting back to goals. And by the way, your mentor can help you achieve these goals. Sometimes if you have the capacity to do this. If not, just sharing it with your mentor is going to help you. Because you actually started to share it. Maybe someday he's going to ask you, what's your progress? Where are you now on this goal? So just by sharing your goal with your mentor that I want to achieve this is helping. Take it out of your brain, put it outside, visualize it, share it with a person who's going to hold you accountable for it. Not just applause for you. So basically, this is what you need to help your team do as goal setting. So a lot of people will tell me, so Moment, do I need to do all of this? I'm telling you what really makes things work for longer term. And that will keep your team motivated even when you are not there to help them get motivated, because they will have the goal and they will work toward it. Okay? So I think that you will find this very helpful if you are leading a team for the first time, but you need to try to get them to trust you to share this goal with you and to share it with the team as well. And then try to help him by expediting the goal. Let's say he is putting this goal for 10 years. Tell him, okay, how about if we double the effort? And double the money, double whatever. Can we do it in 5? Let's do it in 5. Because sometimes people will give themselves too relaxed deadline. So if something can be achieved in 2 years, they will put a deadline of 20 years. Because that's another way of procrastination, by the way. Which is, yes, you have set a time, but you have set it so far in the future, so you can always feel good about yourself. I still have time. You get where I'm coming from? So that's really good. Okay, so goal set. That's really crucial as well for new teams and new leader as well. And also set yourself a goal. For this team, what would you like to achieve with this team in your first 1 month, and the second month and the third month? Have milestones. You need to have that for yourself as a leader. Okay? One more thing I can say is very important in the very first 1 month is avoid negative conversation about your members with other members. How is that? So let's say someone is giving me a hard time in my team. Okay? One of the worst things that you can do is while you are having a cigarette or a coffee with another team member is that you talk negatively about his colleague. That is driving you crazy. You know why? Because I'll tell you a matter of fact that maybe you will not know until you become in place. Your team trusts each other sometimes more than you, more than they trust you. And they will be closer to each other by nature. They will be closer to each other more than they are close to you. So if you talk negatively about one of your team members to another team member, he's going to go tell him. Okay? And you know what happens? You lost the trust of the whole team. You lost the trust of the whole team. Why? Because they will start thinking that you are talking negatively about them behind their backs. I'll tell you something. It's not easy. Sometimes we're aggravated, we're frustrated, and we need to vent out. No, you cannot vent out to your reportees about one of their colleagues. If you want to do that, do it with your mentor. Okay? Do it with your colleague who's elder than you, like a more experienced colleague. No, and be careful with colleagues because some of the colleagues are less mature, so are going to give you wrong advices. So choose also your colleagues that you will vent out with. Okay? Vent out with your wife or with your partner, which is someone not related to the workplace. Okay? Who will not come and like have this will not reach the person. Because of course we all need to vent out sometimes. Of course, let's get into this. On some people it's really frustrating sometimes. Okay? And hard to deal with. It's fine. And you as a leader, you will be a sponge. You will actually sometimes be a psychiatrist. Really. Adam?
Going back to the goals and motivation.
Sure.
Now I set a goal for the whole team. I
Okay.
motivated them, and I set also a time. Maybe let's call it maybe after 3 months we're gonna expand. For example, and the 3 months ended, and nothing happened.
Okay.
So what will make me myself motivated again? Like I am motivating my people, I'm motivating all the team. But what will make me shining at or raise up?
Okay. Very good question. And I'm telling you that because that happened to me.
Yes.
So you need to find a new goal. So the first goal that you didn't work out. So try to understand why it didn't work. And also take responsibility and accountability about why it didn't work. Okay? And how you can make it work and set a new goal. Okay? Sometimes you might say it didn't happen not because of me. Okay, we were two leaders and one is doing bad. So that's why the account didn't grow. For example. Okay? And instead of saying that, you can say something. My colleague needed my help. I didn't provide it. So it's on me. And I did that myself. I started blaming it. That, yeah, I could have done something. Yes, I cared too much about my team, but I didn't help my colleague. Maybe I tried to help once or twice and he didn't accept it. Don't stop trying. Okay? Help as much as you can. So you can feel good that you did all what you can. And it didn't work, then it was not meant to be. Let's set a new goal. And be transparent with your team. Don't keep secrets there in terms of why the goal was not achieved. Hey, sit down with the team. Hey guys, we had this goal. We couldn't achieve it because in my opinion, I think that's 1, 2, 3 happened that didn't make this goal happen. Let's set a new goal. Okay, with another timeline and do our best there and learn from the past mistakes. Okay, and always be aware that setting a goal doesn't really mean that you will achieve it in the time that you set in the first time. No, as they say, success only comes from failures. After a lot of failures, you will reach the success. And I think most of the greatest achievements in human history came from thousands of failures. We're gonna even talk about lights here. Came after 1,000 failed attempt to create a light bulb, then he did the right one. Eventually, after 1,000 wrong time, Thomas Edison, right?
No.
That's the story. It's Tesla.
Nikola Tesla, is he the one who did it or not? I'm just saying what's in textbooks, not the conspiracy theory stuff. I love Nikola Tesla, don't get me wrong. But I'm just stating the facts that's well known and proven somehow. In all cases, it comes from a lot of failures. Even Tesla himself wouldn't have achieved what he did without a lot of failures. And, and not just our own failures, others' failures. We learn from it. Learn that I think there is a saying that they say, I learned 999 ways of not succeeding. When he failed, when he succeeded in the 1,000. He didn't say I failed 999 times. He said that I knew 999 that doesn't work. So we need to grasp the same mindset, I believe. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say HR self-motivation stuff that doesn't have anything to do with reality. No, let's say we will fail, and we will feel frustrated, and we will feel down, and we feel that we want to get isolated now. I don't want to deal with people. I don't want to do this. It's fine. Take your time. Express your emotions. Don't suppress it. But the only thing that you need to do is that get out quickly as much as possible. So yes, give your emotions time, give yourself a break, do whatever, but don't get stuck there. If you get stuck there, that's the problem. Successful people, that's what they do. They fail, they get depressed, do whatever, then they stand up again. I'm not saying you should be immune and you cannot get impacted. No, you will not be impacted. You're a human. We're all humans. So we get impacted. But don't let this impact last forever and get you dragged away from your goals. So does that answer the question about the goals? Okay. Where were we before we get back to the goals? I think we moved to another point. Yeah, which is trust and venting out and so on. Right? So this is really important. Okay. One more thing is also try not to get dragged away from your team. Which means, so what is more important? Reading my emails in the morning or going to each person in my team, shake their hands and say, good morning guys, how are you doing today?
Second one.
Second.
Yeah, that's true. What's more important, getting stuck to your screen or just sitting down in the aisle and having chit-chats with your team? Chit-chat, build rapport with your team, have combos, have fun, laugh with them, be one of them, don't get isolated.
I have a question.
Sure.
But isn't there an issue with like the leader befriending the team too much and then they take advantage of that? That is like a scenario that occurs almost all the
I
time.
expected this question. I saw this question come.
Okay.
So what's the fine line between being a friendly manager and being too friendly and almost like neutral, not doing anything? Okay, that's a really good point. There is a fine line between having a relationship and rapport with your team and losing respect from your team. So you have always to keep the balance. To keep this happening, you need to have a balance. That yes, you can be friendly, you can have fun, you can go to the coffee shop together, you can do whatever you want. However, at work, if there is something that requires you to become more strict in a specific area that needs strictness, if it needs an action to be taken, if it needs the right thing needs to be done, you need to understand that this is not have to do anything with being friendly. Being friendly, it doesn't mean that you tolerate everything. That's a very big mistake. Is I will tolerate everything so everybody will like me. Right? Okay, good job. Good job. You have just became useless. Because when you tolerate everything, then there is no rules. It's a chaos. Okay? There is no system.
But wouldn't they expect more from you? Like if you already built like a friendship and then
They can
even if
expect.
there was a mistake,
I'll
and
tell you
need,
something.
you need to take action. They're gonna be expecting you to be like, oh, okay, it's fine because like you were sitting together.
Work is work.
You know.
You need to set it clear and do it by action, not words.
Yeah.
That from first day, they will understand that this has nothing to do with that. Which is that, yes, he's approachable, he's friendly, but if I did a mistake, he's going to take an action. If I don't mean to be strict and take an action or severe action on very small mistakes. Okay? That's not what I mean. What I'm saying is, you need to set this clear with your team. That being friendly with you doesn't mean I will tolerate everything. You will set it as guidelines in the beginning with the team, and also you will set it by action. That when you see something wrong, even if this person is close to you, you should take an action. Okay? No matter who is the person. Of course, the action starts all the way depending on the severity of the issue. So if it's the first time in something that's small, it's a failure. So if it's something that's small and it's first time to happen, then coaching is enough, having combo, okay, about it. So if it happened again, okay, maybe the process says that you need to start taking verbal written warning and so on. But you understand that there was no bad intentions, or it was not intentional mistake, and it was repeated still. You can have another conversation, we told it. The book is there to create governance, but you also need to have your own discretion about when to reinforce it. Going by the book doesn't always mean that you will be right. Because the book by itself is not enough. That's why even in real life, there is judges. In the judges, there is laws. Does that mean he will automatically apply the law? That's why there is a human there. This human listens, understands the motives, understands the patterns, understands the intentions, the background, and then he takes the appropriate discretion, appropriate decision on that. So,
So Mu'min, I really would like to ask you a question.
sure.
That's about like if you have a top performer in your team, and you think that he is already deserve a promotion, would you promote him, and the team lose their top performer, or would you keep him in the team and still like have the good performance after all?
Okay, thank you so much for this question, Hamada. So, few things that we need to identify here. Is getting promoted actually has anything to do with being the top performer? That's the right question. So, being the top performer doesn't mean that you are ready to be a leader. Okay? So, someone might be the average performer, but he is a leader. He's a leader by his acts, by the way he communicates with others. A lot of things as a second line manager, for example, that you might make you want to help someone to get promoted, which is first thing first is emotional intelligence. Does this person has the emotional intelligence or not? Can he actually manage people, motivate people? Okay, so it's not always about being the top performer at all, to be deserving a promotion or to be ready for a promotion and so on. Okay? And I'm not, like, for me personally, I'm not the guy who will promote by recommendations. Usually, if there is a promotion, everybody has to apply and go through the process and things like that, and we choose the best person, whether from the team or externally, just to be on the same page. But looking hypothetically in your situation, if I will assume that your question is, the person is ready to be a leader, he is actually showing a leadership act, and he has good leadership skills, he has the emotional intelligence, and to put the cherry on the top, he is a top performer. Will you promote him or not because the team numbers will get impacted? That's a very wrong mindset to think this way. Why? Because if you have him now and he's a good leader, and also he's a top performer, and he's contributing, let's say, by 10% of the account performance, or even 30%, let's say 60%, it's a small team. Then imagine that if this person is a good leader, and now he have 5-6 people underneath that he will transfer these skills to, then he will get a higher impact. You know, he will get a higher ROI for promoting this person. If he's ready, like again, if he's ready to be a leader and he knows how to be a leader, not just a top performer. Okay? You are asking this question because maybe you saw it sometimes that some people doesn't get promoted because their leader thinks that if they get promoted, the team performance will go down. That's really unfair and greedy to think this way. Okay? And also, maybe you don't think that he will actually create a bigger team. But there is some scenario, maybe we can ask it this way. This person is your top performer, but if he gets promoted, he will go to another department or another team. So his promotion will not contribute to your team success. Will you still help him to get promoted? The answer is yes. Because if your team got the essence that if they do good, they will be punished for this and getting stuck with the role while they have aspirations to be going into new roles, but they will stuck if they became the top performer, then nobody will be with you.
Yes.
And you will end up losing everything.
Well said.
Right? That's it. And I think we had another question from Raoul. You had a question, right?
Well said, yeah.
You don't have a question. Okay. Someone else had a question, I think.
Would you promote a top performer with a fixed mindset or a low performer with a flexible?
Who was a flex mindset, low performer. Okay, let me put it this way: low performer or average?
Let's call it average.
Average with a leader mentality. You mean? What's the like? I'm really sorry. I don't really get what you mean by flex.
I mean, someone is top performing, but his mindset is maybe he has an attitude. Maybe he has.
So he's not ready to be a leader.
He doesn't have like the
He's not
emotional
ready to be a
intelligence needed.
Right? I think that's the same answer to what we just.
But the average one, I mean, he does not have the experience to make the team win.
Okay. To be honest, none of them will get promoted until they are ready to be. Like, if that will answer your question. So, and of course, low performer, no, because he can't help himself. How can we help him? How can he help others? So that's really a no-brainer. You know, if someone is struggling to help himself and he can't actually push himself to work properly and become even average, then how can he be responsible for others? You know, that's regarding the, and there is no discrimination there, but it's just you know.
So, are we gonna tackle the like how to deal with different mindsets?
Of course.
Each mindset.
We'll try because mindsets are a very big spectrum.
Like the most common.
Okay. Sure. You have a question about that?
Yes. If you happen to have like the perfect candidate like on your team, like you definitely know all the people, and if you have like the right personality, like the right emotional intelligence and the right consistent workflow, how would you help this person progress, basically? And how would you prioritize him over the other candidates on the team?
You mean based on my discretion or my point of view?
Yes,
there is
because
someone
you
who
will
is-
have like some sort of judgment and like freedom of choice based on your experience, and you would know.
Yeah, I understand where you come from. You are seeing as a leader from your perspective
Mhm.
that someone is more ready than the others
Yes.
to help. Yeah, you can invest more time. If he's already helping himself and he's advancing than the others, yeah, why not invest more time in this person so he can finish the fine tuning that he needs
Yes.
and be more ready. That's
The reason I asked this question is because lots of us come from a B2C background, and there wasn't this type of this type of mentality that basically did not exist, or did to some extent. Nobody was like helping, even if he saw that this person has the potential.
I wouldn't say that in a very generic way.
Yeah.
Maybe each person has his own different experience. Sometimes you work with leaders who are willing to invest in you and give you time and so on to grow you. And sometimes the leader might not have something to give you, sometimes. And sometimes he might not know how to share it, like I would say. So I wouldn't say it in this general way because I've worked in B2C as well under leaders who I learned a lot from, and some I didn't. Yeah, it's different experience from one person to another, basically. So yeah, I think if, definitely that motivates anyone. Any leader will see someone who is doing actually extra mile to learn and extra mile to advance and extra mile to grow, he will give a helping hand more than the others who are not showing interest in growth. Easy. Which makes sense, right? So that's my answer to this question. So let's get back to the sequence of the timeline that we were talking about. So that's the first month. Before we wrap up, I will give you some idea about something that's called the team building stages. Okay, usually each team has around 5 stages. Okay, which is forming, storming, norming, performing, and journey. Okay? So, what is the meaning of each one? Okay? So, forming stage is usually the very early stage, which is from hiring and recruitment part, choosing the people, and so on. This is the forming stage. You're getting different calibers for different tasks. If this team is working on different things, let's say if you are doing a project or whatever, and you need multiple people from multiple backgrounds and so on. Now I'm not talking about being a sales leader specifically. But let's say you are a sales leader, so you are recruiting your team, you're making sure that you're hiring the right people, and then making sure they are going to blend in together in an appropriate manner in the first few days during the training. All the first months, this is usually the forming stage. And that's what I was talking to you about for the past 1 hour and something, is mostly all of these are during the forming stage. Then the second stage and the most dangerous stage, it's called the storming stage. Okay? And this storming stage usually happens, like it's not strictly to these timelines, but usually happens after months number 2, 3, something like that, which is conflicts. People, yes, knew each other, and they started working together, and then the personal differences is happening, then conflicts starts to arise. Okay? And this stage is very dangerous. Why? Because if the team couldn't pass through the storming stage in a healthy manner, there will be a big crack in your team. Okay? So the storming stage, where people have different mindsets, different ways of doing things, different way of talking, different way of expressing themselves. And then sometimes some people will not accept these ways. Some boundaries might be crossed, some limitations might be crossed, because sometimes the way people set their boundaries is not the same. Some people show you their barriers and their boundaries from the very first minute. That these are my boundaries, you cannot cross them. Some people, sometimes their boundaries are not really visible until you cross one and a conflict happens. Then you sit down, resolve it, and understand the boundary. So here, the conflict management comes in, and it's the really most important skill as a manager that you need to have in this specific stage, which is conflict management. Conflict management is really wide and really hard to do and requires a lot of self-control, and also being able to stay subjective and be a good listener, and also try not to satisfy everyone. No, you try to find a common ground that each person will compromise at some point to reach this common ground. So conflict management, and there is actually a course on LinkedIn that I really highly recommend. you guys read or take these courses about conflict management because it's really, really, really important thing to do. I will not go deep into conflict management this time because the time will not be enough, and we will have a lot of examples that we can tackle in conflict management. But just to sum it a little bit, and you can deep dive into it into the course of conflict management, but you need to be a very good listener and unbiased, and also you need to try to understand each person's perspective himself. You need to get out of yourself and look from each person's eye, and then get out of the whole thing and try to explain to each person where is the disconnection is happening and how can we find the common ground and fix this. Okay? So it's really important skill during the storming stage. And usually, no matter how you try, the team will go through the storming stage until they set their guidelines of treatment and the way they work together. Then the next stage is called the norming stage. Okay? The norming stage is usually when people already started to get along, they work together, okay, and they started to relax and be together in a nice environment. However, sometimes what happens during this stage is sometimes the teams becomes too relaxed, which is they already got comfortable, things are nice and so on, so they get too relaxed towards each other, which sometimes cause conflicts again, or it caused overall team relaxation and low performance. Okay? Yes, they are good to each other, they are having fun together, right? And they enjoy each other's company. But this has started to, to go against the overall goal, which is that we need to achieve our goal. We need to push each other. We need to be more competitive still. Then the next stage is called the performing stage. Performing stage is when every piece of the puzzle is put together, which is the team is highly performing, they're working together in a very good manner, they're motivating each other, they're competing in a healthy way, and the overall goal is getting achieved and everybody is working towards it and helping each other as a very dynamic and stable unit. Okay? The stage number 5, which is adjourning, this doesn't happen to all teams. Sometimes this happens to teams which is task-based. Like, for example, this is a team that's going to be formed to launch a specific project, and then each person will get back to his original place. So this is a very hard stage as well, which is that you are now getting separated. Everybody's getting separated again to go to his original unit. For example, this was a temporary team for a specific task. Okay? As a leader for this team at the adjourning stage, your role here is to make sure that the transition from adjourning to getting back to business as usual is a smooth one. And how can you make it smooth? By clear expectations and assurance. Okay? You need to have clear next steps for each person. So that after we finish this project, what you will do is, and you will get back to do this, and this, and this, and this, and what kind of expectations he will have, what kind of environment he will have after you finish this project. Usually you will not face this a lot in the sales teams. Most of the time the sales teams continue together. Or maybe some people will drop by getting promoted or leaving or getting terminated or whatever, but the team overall, the structure is still there and continuing. So there is no adjourning. So it's not a must stage, the adjourning stage. But usually it happens if you have a temporary task that the team is put together to fix, like Suicide Squad. So these stages, I need you to go and deep dive as well and try to understand each stage. What are the challenges of the forming stage? How can I resolve it? What are the challenges of the storing stage and how can I resolve it? The norming and the performing. And how can I reach the performing? Okay? So this is your homework. It's two things. Conflict management course. You need to go and watch this course. And also try to understand the team building stages and how to deal with each stage effectively. Okay? And by this, I will wrap up today's session. I hope it was useful for you guys. I will open the room for questions. If anyone has a question, I will answer. We have 4 minutes left. We can answer any questions left, or if anyone doesn't have no questions, then we can wrap up. So, any
I have a
questions?
question.
Sure, go ahead.
As I asked you, maybe like, what a mistake you did in your early stages that we shouldn't do?
I did a lot. Like what mistakes? Mistake number one is putting people in, like what do you call it?
Brackets.
Yeah, in brackets. And I'm bracketing everyone, and that's who's not.
Labeling.
Label, like putting a label.
Yes, labeling. This is good. This is bad. This is good. This no. There's no such a thing. This guy is different than this guy. And he eats differently. Another thing also that I think maybe was the biggest mistake in my early leadership career is expecting everyone to be mu'min when he was on the phone. And that was a big mistake. Especially like when I was on the phone, I was really the guy who never exceeds a break, never goes comes late, never. That was a very invalid expectation, which caused me a lot of frustration because I didn't know that each person is different. Each person has a different value, and each person has a different way of treatment. And don't expect everyone to be like you when you were on the phone. That was a very big mistake. And also, I had a very big issue with conflict management. I had a big conflict with my first team, and I couldn't resolve it properly. And it grew and split the team and made a very big issue, a big crack in my team. I did a lot of mistakes in my first team, man. It was it was a disaster. I can say so. Although before I got promoted, I got 150 course in leadership, but I still did a lot of mistakes.
You're doing great now.
Hopefully. I'm still doing mistakes, but I'm trying to learn from them. This is definitely, and hopefully I'm doing good. Hopefully, that's what I'm trying. So, any other questions? All right. Thank you so much, guys.